Today, pets are everywhere. Dogs sleep on couches. Cats curl up beside windows. People care for birds, rabbits, fish, and countless other animals. For many of us, pets feel like a normal part of life. But this raises an interesting question. Did ancient humans have pets? Or is keeping animals as companions a relatively recent invention? The answer is surprisingly fascinating, because the relationship between humans and animals stretches back tens of thousands of years, long before cities existed, long before agriculture, long before written history. To understand how pets emerged, we first need to imagine the world of ancient humans. For most of human history, people lived as hunter-gatherers. Small groups traveled across landscapes in search of food. Life was difficult. Resources were limited. Every member of the group needed to contribute to survival. Animals were everywhere. Some were prey. Some were predators. Some were competitors. Humans constantly interacted with them, but most of these relationships were practical rather than emotional. A deer was food. A mammoth was food. A wolf could be dangerous. Animals were often viewed through the lens of survival. Yet something unusual eventually happened. One species crossed a line that no other animal had crossed before: the wolf. The story of pets likely begins with wolves. Scientists still debate exactly how domestication occurred, but most agree it began at least 15,000 years ago, possibly much earlier. Some evidence suggests humans and wolves may have started forming relationships more than 30,000 years ago. Nobody knows the exact moment. There was no first official pet. No ancient human suddenly declaring, "This wolf is now my companion." Instead, the process was gradual, over many generations. One theory suggests that certain wolves began lingering near human camps. Ancient humans generated food scraps, bones, waste, resources that scavenging animals could exploit. The least aggressive wolves may have gained an advantage. Rather than attacking humans, they tolerated them, and humans tolerated them in return. Over time, these wolves became increasingly comfortable around people. Meanwhile, humans noticed something useful. Wolves possess remarkable senses. They can detect danger, track animals, alert groups to approaching threats. A wolf living near camp might provide benefits. The relationship gradually became mutually beneficial. Humans provided access to food. Wolves provided protection and awareness. Generation after generation, natural selection favored wolves that were calmer around humans, and humans increasingly accepted their presence. Eventually, these wolves began changing. Their behavior changed. Their appearance changed. Their relationship with humans changed. The result was something entirely new: dogs. The dog was likely humanity's first domesticated animal, and perhaps its first pet. But this raises an important question. Were ancient dogs truly pets? Or were they simply working animals? The answer may be both. Many early dogs almost certainly performed practical roles. They helped hunt, guarded camps, tracked prey, protected communities. These functions made them valuable. Yet archaeological discoveries suggest something deeper was happening. In several ancient burial sites, humans and dogs have been found buried together. One famous example comes from a burial site in Israel dating back roughly 12,000 years. A human was buried with a puppy. The person's hand appeared to rest gently on the animal. This discovery is remarkable because burial practices often reveal what people value. The puppy was not discarded. It was carefully placed beside a human. This suggests an emotional connection, possibly affection, possibly companionship, possibly grief. Whatever the exact meaning, it indicates that some ancient humans viewed dogs as more than tools. They may have viewed them as family, and dogs were not the only animals receiving special treatment. Evidence from various cultures suggests humans occasionally formed close relationships with other animals as well. Foxes, birds, monkeys, even large cats in some cases. However, these relationships appear far less common than those involving dogs. Dogs possessed unique advantages. They were highly social. They already lived in cooperative groups. They communicated effectively, and they adapted remarkably well to human environments. In many ways, dogs were almost perfectly suited for partnership with humans. Humans and dogs evolved together, and that relationship may have influenced both species. Some researchers believe dogs changed human history. They may have improved hunting success, enhanced security, increased mobility, and strengthened survival chances in challenging environments. At the same time, humans shaped dogs through selective breeding. Over thousands of years, different types of dogs emerged. Some specialized in hunting, others in guarding, others in herding. The diversity of modern dogs reflects thousands of years of shared history. Yet companionship remained important. One clue comes from the way humans respond to animals emotionally. People often develop strong attachments to pets. Modern neuroscience shows that interactions with dogs can influence hormones associated with bonding and trust. Interestingly, dogs show similar responses. The relationship is not one-sided. Both species appear capable of forming meaningful social connections with each other. This may help explain why dogs became so successful as companions. But what about cats? Today, cats are among the world's most popular pets, yet their story began much later. Unlike dogs, cats were not originally hunting companions. Their domestication appears closely connected to agriculture. When humans began storing grain, rodents became a problem. Where rodents gathered, cats followed. Wild cats discovered that human settlements offered abundant hunting opportunities. Humans appreciated having fewer rodents around. A mutually beneficial relationship emerged. Over time, certain cat populations became increasingly comfortable around people. Eventually, domestic cats appeared. This process likely began around 10,000 years ago in the Near East, much later than the domestication of dogs. Interestingly, cats may have domesticated themselves to some extent. Rather than humans actively seeking cats, cats may have chosen to live alongside humans because the arrangement benefited them. Humans simply encouraged the relationship. And just like dogs, cats eventually became more than practical helpers. Ancient Egyptians famously developed strong cultural connections with cats. Cats appeared in art, religion, daily life. Some were even mummified after death. Clearly, many people viewed them as important companions. As civilizations expanded, human-animal relationships became increasingly diverse. Different cultures kept different animals: birds, monkeys, ferrets, rabbits, and many others. Sometimes for work, sometimes for status, sometimes for companionship. The reasons varied. But the emotional component appears repeatedly throughout history. Why do humans form attachments to animals in the first place? Part of the answer may lie in our biology. Humans are social creatures. Our brains evolved to build relationships, to recognize individuals, to form bonds. Animals can sometimes activate these same social systems, especially animals that display behaviors humans interpret as friendly, loyal, playful, or affectionate. Large eyes, expressive faces, social interaction. These characteristics often trigger nurturing responses. Dogs are particularly effective at this. Some studies suggest dogs became unusually skilled at reading human emotions and social cues. They often understand gestures better than many other animals, including some primates. This ability may have strengthened the human-dog partnership over thousands of years. But pets are not simply a modern luxury. The evidence suggests the roots of pet ownership are ancient, very ancient, long before smartphones, long before houses, long before civilization itself. Humans were already forming relationships with animals that went beyond survival. That may be one of the most remarkable aspects of the story. Ancient humans lived under extremely difficult conditions. Food shortages were common. Predators were real threats. Injuries could be deadly. Life was uncertain. Yet even in such environments, people sometimes invested time, resources, and emotional energy into animals. That choice tells us something important. It suggests companionship has deep roots in human nature. The desire to connect with other living beings may be far older than we often assume. The first pet owner will never be known. We do not know who first fed a wolf, who first cared for an injured animal, or who first viewed an animal as a companion rather than a resource. Their names are lost to history, but the legacy remains. Because today, billions of people share their lives with pets, dogs, cats, birds, and countless other animals. A tradition that may stretch back tens of thousands of years, to ancient campfires, to wandering hunter-gatherers, and to the moment when humans and animals began forming one of the oldest friendships in history, a friendship that continues to this day.